What's going on, guys? We are back with another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing a full mix and mastering session. I'm going to break down all the steps that I take in this process, and I'm going to show you guys how to get a song from raw to completely finished, polished, radio ready. So let's get right into the video. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to solo the beat, and I'm going to get the beat sounding right. So the two things that I did before I started this was I already did my trim so the beat wasn't like overpowering in the YouTube video. I took about 6.8 dB off the beat, and then I also used Fab Filter here and I rounded off some of the low end here from the bass, and that's it. And that's everything that I've done so far. So at the end of my chain I have gold clip for my 2-track beat. And what this is doing, I'm using this to shave off some of the transients from the kick and the snare early on in the song. So basically I just pull the ceiling down till I'm shaving off about 2 to 3 dBs of the transients, and then I'm using the gold knob to compress. It's like a parallel compression, but it just gives some weight to the beat. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I think that sounds fine. That's probably good. So let's go ahead and drive up this, get a little bit of I think that sounds great like that. It has that thump to it. It sounds really nice. It's not crushed. I like that. Now that we got the beat situated, let's go ahead and listen to the raw vocals with the beat.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go and sign for it.
So the first thing that I'm hearing from this vocal is resonance and harshness that I want to take care of before we do anything else. So obviously the first plugin in the chain is going to be Pro Q4. Let's take a look in here and let's play the vocal and let's just see what we got going on.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it.
So I'm gonna mute the beat and I'm just gonna listen. I'm gonna look for resonant frequencies and get them gone.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got.
Do you hear this frequency right here? How it sounds like mushy and just like really bad.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got.
So like with this type of frequency right here, what I would do is this is the exact thing that I would do. So I hear the frequency, come down here to the Q. I know I'm gonna need a sharper Q, so I would adjust the Q first, and then I would come here to the dynamic band, which is the outer circle of this plugin. You don't pull the inner circle down. You pull this one down, and you don't try to pull it to the left because it's not going to come down the way you want it to. Go to this thing right here and just pull straight down. Boom. And this is how you get that. You get a dynamic band. This only is attenuating whenever it's becoming too much right here.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it.
Already sounds way better. Here's with and without. Here's without.
The old me would take care of the bullshit.
And here's with.
The old me would take care of the bullshit.
Cool. We're also got some low end that we need to roll off here, so let's go ahead and do that.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go and sign for it. The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me.
This is just getting that little bit of low end over here and just getting it gone. Because if you see right down here,
the old me would take care of the
we
bullshit.
don't need any of that stuff right there. We don't need none of that stuff. All right, so now that we got that, let's look for more frequencies that this don't sound good.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is.
Yeah, like nasally frequency right there.
The old me would take care of the bullshit.
With this mid frequency.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for.
It's not like hardcore, like bad. It doesn't sound like hardcore bad. So like what I would do is pull it down just a slight bit, like a dB or so.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it.
And I'll play that with and without.
The old me would take care of the bullshit.
And then with.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The old me would take care of the bullshit. The old me would take care of the bullshit.
It's just kind of keeping that mid under control. You have to really be paying attention to hear what I'm hearing. The last thing that I want to do is I said harshness. So up here, there's definitely some harshness. So we're going to find it, and then we're going to use spectral to get it going. So look, I'll show you.
Yo. The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it.
Right there. So right click, make spectral, right? I'm going to adjust my octave slope to around like 30, and I'm going to drag it down closer to the -3 mark. Then I'm going to click on these two arrows, and I'm going to speed this up so it can catch it fast and release it fast. Now I'm going to locate the exact spot where I need this to be.
Yo. The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it.
And I'm going to close the cue a little bit because I need it right here, but I also don't want to hit in my high end too much. So I'm going to close that up just a bit.
Yo. The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it.
So here's with and without. So without first.
Yo. The old me would take care of the...
Pay attention to the T. The T. Take care of the bullshit.
Yo. The old me would take care of the... Yo.
Now with.
Yo. The old me would take care of the bullshit. Yo. The old me would take care of the bullshit.
It's a lot hard. It's a hard to hear thing. If you're not wearing headphones, you're definitely not going to hear it. It's ever so harsher with the T's. It just controls things. So now that we have the vocal controlled, I'm gonna unmute the beat. I'm gonna listen to it now.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it.
And without.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go inside for it.
So we didn't do a lot. All we did was clean the vocal up. Like, that's it. We're not emphasizing anything. We're not boosting anything in that EQ. We're just cleaning the vocal up. The next thing that we're gonna do is de-ess the vocal. I always do de-essers early in my chain, no matter what chain it is that I'm using. I'm never doing 16 dB though. I don't know why that says that. I think that's the yeah, I think that's the default, yeah. So I'm gonna look around like 6 dBs here, and I'm gonna look around 5,000, and I'm just gonna look for some S's, and I'm gonna use this button here, and you'll see how I do it.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got it.
So what I'm doing with this threshold, right, is I'm pulling this up until I'm only getting the S's pulled down. So like, if you pull this down all the way, you're gonna be compressing everything. Right? You want to find that sweet spot where it's only really pulling down like the S's and the T's, maybe a little bit, but like, I'll show you. See? That is like the perfect DS setting. So now just play it with the button off.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go inside for it.
So already this vocal's starting to come together, right? So the next plugin we're gonna look at, C4. I know a lot of people in the comments were recommending me the green multiband compression. I can't remember the name of it. It's the one that Jason Joshua uses. I will check that out, but I've been on C4 for such a long time. I like C4. I'm gonna bypass the top band. I'm not gonna mess with that, but I'm gonna start with this high mid band here, and I'm just gonna take a look at this one. I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm listening for. So you're gonna hear some like high air come in when I start to move it over this way. You don't want that in there. So I'll show you exactly what I mean, right? You hear that? You just want this part. Like, you can hear what I'm talking about. And I'll move it this way, and I'll show you what you don't want on this side. You hear that honky stuff starting to come in? You don't want that in this band. Like, and I'm simplifying this in the most incredible way right now. Like, I'm not gonna overcomplicate how to use this for you right now. That's all you want in there. Like, you don't want any of that honky, you don't want any of the air. That's the way I use this. And then, you know, we're gonna start pulling down. Just enough, just a little bit. It's just compressing a little bit. And then we're gonna bypass and unbypass until we can get a level match on the volume.
time for it.
Before I even play, I'm just gonna move on to the next one. I normally jump from this one to the low mid band because it's easier for me to dial in what I'm trying to hear. So I'll single this out and I'll just listen for the low mids here, or I'll listen to the low end. Sorry. Cool. All right. Now let's pull this puppy down a lot. We want the low end to be floored. That's how I like it. I like my low end to be floored. And again, I'm just doing the bypass and unbypass to level out the volume.
Old me would take care of the bullshit.
Cool. Now the last band obviously is going to be the low mid band, and let's take a look.
The old me would take.
We don't got to move anything here now because we already know where this one is and where this one is, so we just go ahead and start attenuating.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it.
I'm not going to overdo it too much either on this band.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go inside for it. New whip, new things.
So this is without, and then I'll play it with.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it.
Now with.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it.
You hear how it's just like real smooth, buttery, like it just sounds controlled and tamed. Like C4 is one of the greatest plugins ever. The next thing we're gonna look at is compression, and I'm actually not gonna use the Tube Tech. I did use the Tube Tech originally, but I think that the LA2A might be a better choice. So let's go ahead and pull that up, and I'm gonna take a look with this one here. So let's go ahead and play the vocal, and let's get it dialed in.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go inside for it. New whip, new things. Bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it. These days I'm just trying to cash out. Put a little money back into the trap house. Ass so big on the back of the new Benz truck that it's hard for little wobble.
This plugin is like super self-explanatory. You drive the peak reduction up until you're getting around like anywhere from like 2 to like -5. If you really want to push it, -7, but like -5 is a really good spot to be in. And you're just kind of pushing that, and then you gain match. You bypass and unbypass until you hit the same amount of gain, obviously. Now I want you to pay attention to signal flow here, right? So we didn't boost anything in the EQ until after I've done all my compression and my de-essing. If you start boosting stuff before you hit a de-esser, it's going to make it harder on your de-esser later on. And then if you start boosting stuff with the EQ before your compressors, what you're doing is you're going to boost the frequency, and then the compressor is going to pull that frequency right back down, and you're going to be running in circles. So yeah, signal flow is incredibly important when it comes to plugin choice. So now we're going to look for a frequency to go ahead and boost now that we're done with everything that we need cleaning up wise. So I'm going to look around like 1K, anywhere from like 1K to 2K. I'm going to look around there for a decent frequency to boost.
The old me would take care of bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go inside for it. New whip, new things. Bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it. These days
So I boosted around 1.1, 1.2K, and what that did was just boost it. Just you can hear the vocal more. I'm not gonna use any like too fancy words like clarity and whatnot and shimmer. You can hear the vocal better. So listen without and listen with.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go inside for it.
Just helps the vocal creep through the beat. You don't want, like, I'm not trying to do stuff to where like I'm boosting the crap out of the vocal and it sounds different. All I'm trying to do is get the vocal to come through the beat and just sit there really, really nicely. One big thing you can do is use a high shelf here to really cut the vocal through the beat. So we'll listen without and with.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got.
So all I did was just boost some of the high end around 12K, and then we're gonna look at one other thing here around like 7, 8K. There's like some presence that I could get out of this vocal, so let's go ahead and try and see what we could do here.
The old me would take care of the bullshit.
be careful when you're boosting frequencies like this, because this is literally where we were attenuating with the spectral. So you got to be super careful about stuff like this.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go inside for it. New whip, new things. Bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it.
So basically, it's just pulling a little bit of that clarity back out of the vocal. This is really all you really need to do. You don't really need to do too much in boosting EQ. I'm not a big fan of over boosting EQ. Make sure your EQs are in natural phase. Don't put them in low latency. But yeah, this is good on boosting for that type of. I like the way that sounds. So the next plugin that we're going to look at is SOOTHE, and this is just for any sort of resonances that we missed, or any type of harshness that we missed, or anything like that. So we'll go into vocals, and I like to go to vocal deharsh, but we'll listen to a couple different ones and we'll see. I also like this best vocal low mids in the game. It's heat, but let's take a listen to a couple of them.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go inside for it.
Like I said, best vocal low mids in the game. That setting is really nice. This is what it looks like.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it.
And basically it's attenuating the low end to give emphasis to the mids in a really, really nice way. So we'll leave that like that. And then the last thing we'll do is check if we need any sort of de-essing at the end of the chain, just to be safe.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go inside for it.
So I'm using crazy low range and threshold numbers just to get that teeny little. You don't want to create a lisp, so you don't want to over de-ess the vocal. So I'm using very low range, very low threshold, and I'm just getting that little bit of S going right at the end.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it.
When I'm working with a vocal and there's ad-libs, right? The ad-libs are on my background vocal bus because they're a background vocal. And basically all I'm doing is I'm going to drag down these plugins that would correlate. So like the de-esser, the subtractive EQ, the compressor, and then the additive EQ, right? And then if you notice up here, I have a Pro Q right here. So I don't really do too much extra different processing on my background vocals and my ad-libs. I would, however, pull back some of this right here, some of this high end right here, just so it's not competing with the lead vocal, and then I will compress the ad-libs differently than the vocals. So I'll compress them harder. So I'll show you what I mean.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go inside for it. New whip, new things. Bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it.
So now in the actual ad-lib track, I have this Pro Q4, and I'm cutting off the low end and the high end, and this is what it looks like.
The old me would take care of the bullshit.
I had the volume down 4.4 just so they can sit behind the lead vocals, and this is what it overall sounds like.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it.
So after that, I would try to like glue the background vocals and the leads together. In this case, we really only have the ad-lib, so I wouldn't do very much, like literally at all. So I'll show you exactly what I mean. First things first, sidechain filter, turn that up. This is just so you're not compressing the low end all crazy. So let's listen and let's dial in a little bit of glue for them vocals.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go inside for it. New whip, new things. Bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it.
All I did was get barely any sort of gain reduction at all by pulling the threshold up, and then I fixed the makeup gain so it's level to the vocal, and then I adjusted the makeup gain to get the vocals back to where they were before. Like I said, barely any sort of compression at all. So I want to bring something up here. So I have SOOTHE on my beat, right? And the reason that's here is for a track spacer effect. So I have these presets that I created, and I have this preset right here, and I call this track spacer. And what it's doing is there is a sidechain key to my lead vocals right here, track spacer, with it on pre-fader. So what this is doing is it's dynamically cutting out space for my lead vocals, and it does it better than the actual track spacer plugin. So in the actual track spacer plugin, you're prone to pumping because it's lowering the overall volume. In SOOTHE 2, when you do this, it is literally specifically only cutting out where your vocal is at in the beat. So it's carving out the exact frequencies. So if you notice here, we have track spacer on, it's turned up. We have SOOTHE 2 on this, and the key is set right here to the lead vocals. Now watch what happens when I play.
Bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it. These days I'm.
So what you're seeing right here is where the beat is dipping, right? But if we hit delta, it's gonna flip it, and it's gonna show you the vocals and where the cut is. So look.
Bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it. These days I'm just trying to cash out, put a little money back.
So that's the parts of the beat that are being cut out of the vocals. So it's like a mirror. So
bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it.
Right? It creates this incredible space for your vocals in the beat. So I'll show you with it off.
Bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it. These days I'm just trying to cash out.
And then with it on.
Bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it. These days I'm just trying to cash out.
It's so transparent and it's so incredible. You could barely hear the difference, but I'm telling you, the vocals sit through the beat so much better. So the next thing that I would do is take a look at my effects. So the first thing I'm going to mess with is my parallel compression, and what I'm using is RVox, and I just have the compressor slammed. I have the gate up, and the gain is at 0. What it's doing is it's hyper compressing the vocal, but I'm only feeding it into the beat a little bit to give it that mass and volume. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it up drastically, and so you can hear exactly what it's doing, and then I'm gonna feed it in how I would normally feed it in. Watch your ears.
Bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it. These days I'm just trying to cash out.
So that's what it's doing, right? So this is how I would feed this into the vocal.
Bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it. These days I'm just trying to cash out, put a little money back into the trap house. Ass so big on the back of the new Benz truck that it's hard for little wop.
So you shouldn't like overly hear it. You should just more like feel like the vocal is like lifted up a bit. So that's all that parallel compression is. Oh, and then after, you can copy these settings if you want, but this is what I'm doing. I'm rolling off the low end, boosting a little mid, boosting a little highs on the parallel compression. Rolling off the low end because you don't want to crush the crap out of the low end. So definitely if you're going to do anything, roll off this low end right here. Now that we have parallel compression, the next thing we're going to do is we're gonna add the delay to the vocals first. So let's take a look here. Let's do the ADLIBS first. So let's go to the ADLIB track here that I have made. So let's go ahead and just dial in the reverb for the ADLIB. I'll break down what I'm doing while I'm doing it.
Bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it. These days I'm just.
So I'm gonna actually solo out the ADLIB so you can hear exactly what's happening.
Bullshit. Time for it. Line for it.
So this is a settings that I have set for the ADLIBS. This changes every single song. I normally always keep this up around like 25 to like 30. The low pass on like 4 to 5K. The high pass on around 250 to 300. Always turn analog off. Always, it makes sound. So all I'm doing is I'm driving up the fader until I can hear it right. So
bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go and sign for it. New whip, new things.
So we dialed in the ADLIB delay. So the next thing that I'm gonna do effects wise is add slap delay to the lead vocal. So right here we have a slap track. If you look, it's H delay. We have it on 70 milliseconds, no feedback, or 1 on the feedback, but like it's either 0 or 1 for slap delay. Analog off, same thing for the high pass, low pass, and all we're doing is we're just feeding it in. I'll show you what that sounds like, exaggerated first and then unexaggerated. And again, all of these blue tracks here are stereo aux sends. They are, if you want to make something like this, you go up here, you hit track, you go to stereo, you go to aux, and then you would name it parallel compression. And then from there, whatever track you want the parallel compression on, you would go over here to ascend. You would go to here, you go to track, and you'd find the parallel compression right here. Let's listen to the slap delay. I'm going to exaggerate it, then I'm going to dial it in the right way.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me.
You hear what it's doing? So let's go ahead and dial it in.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go and sign for it.
Next thing, let's add some reverb to the lead vocals, right? We need reverb. I have Valhalla reverb, and I'm just gonna dial this in. So let's go ahead and listen to the vocal with it, and I'm gonna exaggerate it first. I'm gonna adjust, and then I'm gonna pull it down.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go and sign for it. New whip, new things. Bet you wouldn't go out here and die for it. These days I'm just trying to cash out. Put a little money back into the trap house. Ass so big on the back of the new Benz truck that it's hard for Lil Wapo to even going back out.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plate to me. So what I'll do is I'll just pull it down until it sounds good.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've.
And I'll say that this is like a hip-hop song. It's not gonna have like tons and tons of reverb. It's definitely not gonna be like an ambience effect. It's more gonna be like a gluing type of effect. So yeah, this sounds good about right there.
The old me would take care of the bullshit.
And I think I'll pull the slap down a little bit to like maybe like 30.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a lot.
Okay, so I like the way that sounds. Then I'll add some reverb to like the background vocals, which was the ad-libs in this instance. Yes, I do add a separate reverb. Similar settings, but I just like to give a different sort of like feeling for them. Sometimes I'll use the same reverb, but I do like to use separate.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new.
Remember, we're listening for the ad-libs. Don't even focus on the lead vocal.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it.
That sounds great to me. We don't have any sort of background vocal. So I have a lead vocal reverb and a background reverb, but for my delays, I have a lead, ad-lib, and background delay. And the reason for that is because I don't need to apply a different reverb to my background vocals and my ad-libs, but I do need to apply a different type of delay to my ad-libs versus my background vocals. The way I would do this is on the actual lead vocal bus, okay, I have the reverb, and then on the background vocal bus, I have the background vocal reverb. Then on the actual individual vocal tracks is where I'm putting my lead vocal delay and my ad-lib delay right here. So for this song, we're going to be leaving the background vocal delay alone because we don't have background vocals, and we're going to be leaving the wide alone because this isn't really a song where I want to widen up the lead vocals or the ad-libs very much at all. So we'll leave those alone. So now we have our settings dialed in for effects. Again, I'll explain this again real quick. All of these are stereo aux channels. If you want to create one, you go up here, new, stereo, aux, name it. You can hit it again and again. You can make as many as you need. These will pop up. You add your plugin here. So for the input, this is going to automatically turn on whenever you go up here to your send and select. Like if you want lead reverb, when you go up here and you go to track and you find the lead reverb wherever that is, and then you click it, this is automatically going to name itself to the lead reverb. So you don't got to worry about that. All you got to do is send these to your mix bus or wherever you're sending them. If it's just your master, send it right to your master, whatever. But what you're doing is you're sending everything to a cohesive place so you can mix it all. So now let's go ahead and listen to the song with the plugins activated and the effects on, and let's just listen to it.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go and sign for it.
This is the part of the video that I was hypest to talk to you guys about. So my normal mix bus is consisted of multiple plugins. I would have mid-side EQ. I would have SSL G-Bus compressor. I would have the Ampex ATR 102, which is a tape machine emulation. I would have EQP1A, all these plugins, right? Yeah, throw them all away. I just figured out about God Particle the other day. I know I was so hesitant on using this plugin for the longest time. It just felt like one of those like overly perfect plugins to me. But whoa, this plugin is insane. So the limiter's on, and we're going to adjust the EQs, and we're going to adjust the input so it's hitting the green. I'm going to break down exactly how to use this plugin. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to drive the input until I'm hitting inside of this green box. This is the indicator that tells you that your mix is at the right level. So let's go ahead and play the vocal, and let's get it inside of this green box.
Jump in the crowd and try to learn to live again. The pool opportunity turned me into a swimming man. Can't start the war and try to turn civilian. Cause we just wanna go and get the cash. Private flight over, you don't even.
And I like it to be like at the top because I like my mixes in as loud as possible. So I mix until it's like creeping right at the top. And then the next thing we're going to look at is the high, mid, and low band EQ. And right off the jump, I'm going to let you know that this high knob right here is connected to this box. This mid is connected to this box. And this low is connected to this box. The same way you want the overall signal to land into this green box, you want the highs to land in this box, you want the mids to land in this box, and you want the lows to land in this box. So I will add, from out of the creator of the plugin's mouth, this is what he said. The high end will sometimes hit this green box, but if it ever goes over, then you're way too hot. For the mid band and the low band, you want them inside of this box here. But just pay attention to this high band, because if it goes over this, you are recording your high ends too hot. So let's go ahead and dial these in so they're hitting these green box, and I'll show you what I mean.
And jump in the crowd and try to learn to live again. The pool of opportunity turned me into a swimming man. Can't start the war and try to turn civilian. Cause we just wanna go and get the cash. Private flight over, you don't even feel the lag. Had to get into the present and forget about the past. But I feel like I'm still trying to settle in. Hiding from the places where the devil is. It ain't too hard, I can see exactly what attention is. If you can't beat it, then you level it. Break the foundation, then we step inside. Been show them boys I was down to ride.
So if you notice, now my EQ for my low, mid, and high, they're all hitting in the correct indicators. So now that you've dialed in your EQ, just know that on the output, you have it at -1.0 for streaming, and the limiter's on. I didn't touch the limiter at all. Now, if you look on Insight, what's going on here, we'll go ahead and look at the meter, and we'll just see what's happening.
Jump in the crowd and try to learn to live again. The pool of opportunity turned me into a swimming man. Can't start the war and try to turn civilian. Cause we just wanna go and get the cash. Private flight over, you don't even feel the lag. Had to get into the present and forget about the past. But I feel like I'm still trying to settle in. Hiding from the places where the devil is. It ain't too hard, I can see exactly what attention is. If you can't beat it, then you level it. Break the foundation, then we step inside. Been show them boys I was down to ride.
Let's play it again. Let's see if we can get it any louder.
And jump in the crowd and try to learn to live again. The pool of opportunity turned me into a swimming man. Can't start the war and try to turn civilian. Cause we just wanna go and get the cash. Private flight over, you don't even feel the lag. Had to get into the present and forget about the past. But I feel like I'm still trying to settle in. Hiding from the places where the devil is. It ain't too hard, I can see exactly what attention is. If you can't beat it, then you level it. Break the foundation, then we step inside. Been show them boys I was down to ride.
So that is a full master. Like, this sounds incredible. This master is perfectly balanced with the highs, the lows, and the mids, because we have these indicators here. And if your volume is getting into this green, then you know you're going to be good for a commercial master. It does everything adaptively, so the limiter is adaptive, and it's just, this plugin is insane for mastering songs. My mastering sessions used to be much longer. They used to take much more time, much more patience, and now I can do it in front of you guys in like 10 minutes like it's butter, like it's nothing. Yeah, so that's a full mix and master for this song. So I'll play the song and I'll let you hear it with everything off and then with everything on. We went from the raw version, which was this.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go and sign for it.
And we took that to a commercial master, and that sounds like this.
The old me would take care of the bullshit. The new me don't really got the time for it. Old me would've got a line for it. The new me is trying to go and sign for it.
Very loud, very competitive. The mid-range sounds great. The low end sounds good. Nothing's crushed. So this is like the new way that I'm doing this now, is like only God Particle. I don't care for any other plugin now. So if you're interested in improving your workflow, you can go to mixedbyeddieofficial.com and you can check this exact template out. I use this template on every single mix. I just have adjusted things. So I did a template video about a month or two ago, and a couple things have changed. I don't use Gold Clip on the mix bus anymore. I use Gold Clip on the 2-track beat. And then on the mix bus, I took every plugin off and I'm only on God Particle now. That's it. If you don't like these plugins, you can always get the template and then switch these plugins out for the ones that you like. You can use my routing as a reference point. So like you don't want to switch SOOTHE 2 out for some random compressor. You would want to switch SOOTHE 2 out for a plugin like SOOTHE 2. So if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. This is a brand new channel, so all the support is greatly appreciated. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, but I will be posting videos weekly, so I will be back soon. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out of here.
Eddie, you made this?